Welcome to The Vault at 201 North Broadway, podcast for innovators and problem solvers talking all things small business, entrepreneurship, and workforce development.
Today we have one of our own city celebrities. He specializes in humor, sells real estate, has been on the Food Network, TNT, Showtime, and Hulu, and you may have had his family's famous egg rolls. Welcome, Lukas Seely.
Thank you to Big Sky Economic Development for supporting The Vault at 201 North Broadway. Big Sky Economic Development provides leadership and resources for business creation, expansion, retention, new business recruitment, and community development.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
We're so excited. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, I am too.
Me too.
We love your family, especially their egg rolls.
Me too.
And you look so fit too. Like I can't say I would look as fit if
I feel
ate egg
chunky
rolls all the time.
Because I've been playing more golf than actually going to the gym and lifting. So
Okay. But you can't lift too much, I feel like, when you golf. It's like a delicate balance.
yeah, but I usually stay pretty ripped.
Because you're the egg roll machine.
Yeah, all those egg rolls, I'm in there and it's hot, but I'm just like, oh, they're delicious. And I keep serving them. And then if I have a 5-minute spot where there's no one there, I just eat 6 of them.
Right. Like one for you, a few for me kind of. I mean, I would be doing that.
That's how I was when I would make pastries. I would be like, oh, here's a cookie for you and a cookie for me and a cookie for you.
And you have to try it. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't eat what you're serving, then what's the point of serving it, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Completely agree.
So I just want to get us jumped right in. Did you grow up in Billings?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Billings. I went to Broadway Elementary, then Lewis and Clark, then Billings Senior, and then Rocky Mountain College.
Oh, go Bears. That's fun.
Marcel
I graduated
is
from Rocky
also-
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're a battling bear?
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
Not a battling bear, it's a batlin.
Yeah.
Batlin Bear.
There's no G. And
Were
there's,
you
like, a
just
weird...
as excited about the Meadowlark Rocky collab they just did?
I didn't know about that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really cool. I just feel like Billings has never done that with Rocky before. Like you have a college, but like no one ever has done it. But they did like a can wrap. There's like a new Batlin Bear.
Oh,
Beer line.
really?
It's a Batlin Bear.
Yep.
I'm not a beer drinker, but I am now.
I'm not either, but I was like, I'll take a can. So that's cool. What'd you go to school at Rocky for?
Business.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Had James.
Yeah.
Did you have James? Yeah.
Love James.
Love James.
We went to, I know in high school it's called DECA. What is it called in college? The competition business thing?
Enactus.
What?
Did you do Enactus?
Maybe.
I didn't.
Where
but-
we went down and build business plans, and it was like a whole competition
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
probably Enactus.
Yeah.
I think. And it's an acronym, I want to say.
It
but
is
I
an
could be
acronym.
wrong.
Yeah. Something.
We love our acronyms here.
Yeah, acronyms
Yeah.
are the best.
So what was it like growing up in Billings? Like, did your family have the food truck then? Like, tell us that. Like, what was it
No,
like?
I was the youngest of 6 kids. Well, 5 at the time. So I was really young compared to all my siblings. So I was just kind of just there. And I was just the weird kid brother.
But you kind of got I mean, like, all the older siblings that like probably paved this like.
Kind of, but they were just like, I was just like, can I hang out? And they were just like, oh. And so I would play by myself a lot. And I think that's where I got my creativity from and my imagination was, one, we didn't have a lot of money when we were growing up. So I made toys out of things,
Oh, that's really cool.
like
Yeah.
I would
What was the favorite toy you made?
I don't know, man. I just made toys. So one thing I remember is I had a semi-truck Hot Wheels thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, and I needed a trailer, and I didn't have a trailer, so I took cassette tapes and I attached it to the semi truck, and I put the cars in it, and I ran.
You made your own trailer.
I made my own
I
trailer.
love it.
Your imagination was there.
Yeah. So I've always just had a weird imagination, just because I spent a lot of time by myself.
Yeah.
Which is like good, I think, creativity and like kids learning to play with themselves at a young age and like, make their imagination work a little bit
Yeah.
for them.
I didn't have an imaginary friend, though. Just
No.
girlfriend.
Just,
Just a girlfriend.
just an imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah. Never had an imaginary friend when I was younger, but in my 30s, I had an imaginary girlfriend.
I love him.
That's okay. Choose your plus one.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? She's right here.
She's in this other chair right now.
She's with us. Oh, that's so cool.
Well, so growing up, you were just talking about, I think that's what gave you your creativity and imagination. But I think a lot of people around town know that you do comedy. Where was that? How'd you get into comedy? Where did you have a person that just like really triggered the humor in you, or?
No, it was when you're the youngest and no one pays attention to you, you find ways to get attention, and that's being funny. And so when I was at school, I would just find ways to make people laugh.
I love that.
And I would do anything. It's like anything for a laugh, that whole phrase. Like I would do things. I would run into doors and I'd make kids laugh. And I was like, oh, I'll just keep doing that.
I'll just keep
People
running
laugh.
into these
They
doors.
think it's funny.
Yeah, I licked a piece of cat poop once just
Oh,
to make my
wow.
friends. Yeah, just
That is a story. I've never heard anyone say that.
you're our first.
what? You guys never did that? You guys are weird.
You know, I will admit though, like growing up, because I grew up in a small, like rural town, and did my cousin and I maybe eat cat food out of the like boxcar? 100%. Should we have? Absolutely not.
Hey, I ate dog food as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, me and my brother thought it was cool. I'm one of 6 as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I know your pain.
Yeah.
I am not. I'm one of 2, so don't know the. Yeah.
You pipe down over there.
I know. And I'm the oldest, so it's different.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Ekalaka.
Ekalaka.
So really small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that up north, west?
Southeast.
Southeast.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
the
your
most
Mika.
southeast that you can get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I didn't. Yeah. We just ate cat food. That was all.
You're our first cat poop licker on the show.
Sweet. I love being the first.
I can probably honestly say you're probably the first and the last, or that we'll share it.
Oh yeah. See, if they don't share it, there's you gotta be scared of those people
Yeah.
who hide those secrets. See, I'm being open with you guys.
Just open
I'm
and
being
honest.
Yeah.
I'm honest. I'm being transparent. I like cat poop when I was 8 years old,
Well, at least you were little. Like you weren't quite 10 yet. So it's like.
and maybe 38. I don't know. Who knows?
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what happened.
Oh. So growing up, you know, you were the funny kid probably. The school you probably got in the yearbook for the funniest, you know, or class.
Oh, yeah,
clown,
I did.
whatever.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what are some of those other things that happened that led you to where you are now?
And then in high school, I did plays and stuff in school. Mm-hmm. And then in high school, I did speech and debate. So I did the humorous oral interpretation thing, and that was fun. That, in a way, that was kind of like stand-up, but you were just reading things, and it wasn't, obviously, you didn't write your own material then. And then when I went to college, it was just, I love Jim Carrey and Chris Farley.
Chris Farley is one of my heroes.
I grew up on those guys, so
Yeah.
a lot of my weirdness comes from those two.
I love it.
Just being, and I was like, I want to be like them. And one day I was watching Eddie Murphy's Delirious. It's his stand-up comedy special, 1982. He's wearing a red leather jumpsuit. And I watched that and I was like, man, that's crazy. He was up there by himself for an hour and just made people laugh. And that's kind of what started the whole stand-up comedy thing.
Awesome. Where'd you go from there? Like you were like, now I'm in it. I'm going to do this stand-up comedy.
I did. There was an open mic thing that they had, an open mic competition when I was in college, and the venue was just trying to kill time in between improv comedy and I think it was their dance night, college night, or whatever. And so there was like, let's do a open mic comedy competition. The funniest person wins $100, and I was like, oh, and that was like my real first time on stage doing that, and I remember I lost.
I was about to ask, did you win?
I know, and I was like, how did it make you feel, like being up there in front of everyone?
Oh man, I wish I could find the video, but I do remember watching the video because I had my friend record it, and I was sweating so bad. I was wearing a light blue button-up shirt,
Oh, no.
and you could see the sweat stains.
Yeah, It's fine. I mean, we've all...
I was wearing that, khakis, and white K-Swisses. I still remember exactly what I was wearing.
The K-Swiss era.
Yeah.
I had a pair of those too.
I probably did too.
No, I didn't win, but yeah, I just loved it. It was just cool. And then I just kept on doing it. And then every other week, I'd go back and do the competition thing. And then eventually I just kept winning. And then my buddy Chad Korb and Dan Paul Schaefer, they would win too. We'd alternate weeks, so we wouldn't go up against each other. And then eventually we're like, hey, let's put a real comedy show together. So we all got together and then promoted our own comedy show. And I remember we got paid like $100 and some. And I was like, whoa.
This is great.
It was like $200 each, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And we're just like, wow. And then the venue that we did it at would have traveling comedians come every Friday. And so the guy who booked that venue, he heard about us doing comedy at that venue on our own. And so he got a hold of us, and then he called me up one summer and he's like, hey, I'd like to have you open up for this comedian around Montana and Idaho. And then I said, sure. And so my first gig was in Helena, Montana at the Holiday Inn.
Okay.
And I remember pulling up there, and I got there early, and then I went to the pool, and I was just laying in the pool by myself. I'm like, man, this is life, dude. Driving around, get to do comedy. And yeah, I think I went to like 4 cities and around Montana, and yeah, that's where kind of really started. That's when I was getting paid as a comedian. And then I'd go down to Denver after that and competed in the Denver's Funniest Person thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'd drive down. I went to the prelims and the semis and then the finals. And then, yeah, and then kind of made a name for myself in Denver. They're like, who's this Asian kid from Montana coming here? And I remember I lost. I took second there, but it was pretty cool to go up against people in a big city.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when I was like, wow, if I took second in a big city, I must be pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and then that's when I was like, all right, this is what I really want to do. I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to go all in. So then after that, after college, I went to Seattle and, worked regular jobs, but was always doing comedy almost every night because in Seattle, you had an opportunity to perform all the time. So that's where I really cut my teeth, was in Seattle.
So
awesome.
I'm so curious because it's so unique, so you work your day job, then you go and do this in the evenings. Like, are you the one writing how does that work when you get up on stage? Do you have something memorized in your head, or do you just kind of wing it? Like, what is that like?
You always write. Anybody tells you that they wing it. I mean, the only time I wing is if doing crowd work, but you only do that once, and you're not going to rewrite that thing again because you're just messing with people in the audience. But yeah, you're consistently writing. And it's every comedian's writing process is different. My writing process is I'm a storyteller. So something in my life has to happen for me to think like, okay, I'd like to talk about that on stage. Because when you talk about comedy, when comedians talk about a joke, it's either because it makes them feel some type of emotion, whether it's happy, sad, anxious, nervous, something, right? And when you tell that joke, you're conveying that emotion to the audience. And you're saying, I'm telling you this story because it made me feel like this, and this is why. And then you chop that up and you put it into set up joke punchline form. Yeah.
And then, do you just learn, the thing you just mentioned, the setup punchline?
It's all just by trial.
Okay, because I'm like, that's so interesting.
They have classes like in LA.
Yeah.
I never took them because at that point when I moved there, I already knew how to do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You came second in Denver, so.
Yeah, I came second in Denver. I don't need to go to this.
I know.
But there is ways, I guess, you can kind of teach how to structure a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So, my friends and I, when open mics are meant for going on stage, and it's called riffing. You have an idea joke, and you just go and you just start throwing stuff out there, right? And then you take mental notes of okay, what worked, what didn't work, how can I make this better? Was the setup wrong? Was the face wrong? What was it? And you look at all that stuff, take notes, go back to open mic, redo it again, and you just keep on redoing it until it sounds perfect. And usually have like friends will watch each other and say, hey, what if you did this and this and this? I'm like, oh, okay, I never thought about that. So then you'd go back and then you go and then you try it. And then on a regular show, you slip it in somewhere. You slip that new joke in somewhere and see the reaction and like, oh, okay. But sometimes jokes, you'll think of it, it's called tags. Like you'll think of a tag, just spur of the moment. And then like, oh man, that worked. And then you take notes again. And then, so I have an app on my phone that's cloud-based. So no matter what happens, I always have my notes because I've had joke books like that and lost so many of them. And I'm like, so now it's all cloud-based. So I can just go on my phone right away, plug it in.
And be like, here's my jokes.
Here's my jokes.
I like that.
Gosh. So then you were in Seattle working and then doing, like, did you do competitions like you did in Denver or?
Yeah, I did. Same thing. Took second again.
I mean, I still say top 2.
I did the Seattle Laugh Off and gosh dang it. Yeah. Runner up on that one again. But it was, Seattle was where I cut my teeth and really built that brotherhood of comedy with the comedians that I started with and that I'm still friends with now. And it's cool to see a bunch of us, some more famous than others, but just, just come into that comedy. It's called Giggles Comedy Club, and we'd go there all the time, and we'd sit in the lounge and just talk and just rip on each other and make fun of each other. And the owner of that club, I remember the first open mic I did in Seattle, I was just sitting in the corner, signed up, and didn't know anybody. And the owner of the club was making the list for the open mic, and then he goes, then put up that Chinese kid from Montana.
Oh.
And then I went up there and did a good job, and eventually he
Referred to you by your first name?
Yeah.
I was like, remembered your name?
Chinese boy.
From Montana.
Yeah. And then he'd invite me to perform on the weekends, and that was like the thing, to get to perform on the weekends. And so then I would just hang out on the weekends, even if I wasn't going on, and sometimes a comedian wouldn't show up, and so he's like, all right, you're on. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you were like ready though,
yeah,
right?
Got to stay ready.
Yeah, you're always like ready, thinking. And how many times would you do like a set? Like you have this one scripted out. How many times do you do that one before you change it?
You have your jokes, each individual jokes, and you write them down, and then every show you'll just, I'll tell this one, I'll tell this one, I'll tell this one, and then you just write it out and you just go through that set list. So it's not always the same.
But you have that memorized.
The first and the last one are always usually the same because you always start with your second best joke first and your best joke last.
Okay. So there's a method to the madness.
So you always have those two. Mm-hmm. Your opening and your closing, you always know that. And then everything else, you just fill it in. So I have a ton of notes or just a ton of bar napkins with set lists on it.
Oh, okay.
Because you got to read the audience too. You got to go in there, look around, kind of just get an idea of what you think they might like.
Land, yeah.
Yeah, because there's some jokes that are not going to work in Billings, Montana, that will work in Los Angeles and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So you always got to take mental notes, So there's, definitely jokes that I would tell here that I wouldn't tell anywhere else. Just because they wouldn't get it.
Yep. Do you ever have just as a performer, we've never really had anyone that does any type of performance on yet.
You guys had boring people. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. But are you always so on or sometimes I just think of even when I have to briefly public speak, I'm like, oh, sometimes I feel like I was more on or I was like, ooh, that was not great, but we got through it. Do you have that, or is it just you're always no, I just I just am on?
No, there's been times where I'm just not feeling it. And I'm just phoning it in. The words are coming out, but my brain is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But for the most part, it's oh, something's going on in my life. Then you go on stage and boom, you don't think about it for whatever time you're on stage, and then you go back, you're oh, my life sucks again, or whatever.
What kind of prep do you... It's fine, we'll worry about it later. What kind of prep... I'm just so curious about this whole process. What kind of prep are you doing with your... are you really calm?
Do
and
you
like
throw up before you go on stage?
Yeah.
No, I always have to brush my teeth before I go on stage. I can't eat anything before I go on stage.
Okay.
I don't like talking to anybody. I don't like talking to anybody really in general.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Thanks for coming
Back
on
to our
today.
youth if we liked just like hanging out a lot.
I'm
Yeah,
actually more of an introvert than people think. So, I mean, I take forever to get back to you.
That's okay.
okay. She won't hold it against you.
Like people are like, oh, Lucas is a jerk. I'm just like, no, actually, for the most part, I'm more quiet than I am talkative, unless I'm talking to somebody that I know or whatever. But for the most part, I don't like talking.
Just when you're on stage.
Yeah, unless there's a microphone in my face.
Okay, like today.
Like today.
I'm glad we had a microphone for your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if there is no microphone in front of my face right now, I'm like, I don't want to talk.
Like, no, it's not happening. We're not doing it today.
And it's this psychological barrier that comedians develop, that mic is a barrier between the audience and myself.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like protects me,
Yeah.
or mentally protects us, right? So
It's your shield.
it's our shield, yeah.
So you mentioned LA. So we were in Billings. Then we moved to Seattle. Or we did Denver a little.
No,
Then
I didn't live in Denver. I was
drove.
driving 8 hours before stand-up comedy in my early years.
I mean, that's dedication. That
It's
through Wyoming
it'll
is
be
like,
20
wow.
years. This summer is 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes, it'll be 20 years of doing comedy. Holy crap!
I hope you're doing something fun.
I didn't even think about
You
that.
should do a comedy show,
I should.
but
Have a
then we'll
confetti
have to make sure
cannon.
you get second place.
Yeah.
It just is only
You
fair.
can't do it.
That's going to be the name of my comedy album. Second place.
Second place.
Second place, first loser.
So you were in Seattle, then what? Like, then where'd you go? What'd you do?
I was in Seattle, I think, for 5 years. I was working corporate job, marketing.
Did you like that?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
They were sending me all over. It was cool. They'd send me to different cities all over the country. So then it allowed me, so I'd go at like a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time. And when I was there, I'd only have to be at that office from 9 to 5. And then after that, I could do whatever I want. So, if I went to Dallas, I'd go to the office. And then at night, I would find a place to go perform. And it was great because I got to go to like Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Boston. I went
big cities.
LA. Yeah, I
Yeah.
went everywhere. And so it was great because I had an opportunity to start performing in major cities, bigger cities. And then they downsized and they asked, the vice president brought me in. It was like, we can move you to, I think it was North Carolina. And I go, we can move you to North Carolina, or you can take the severance package and go to LA and follow your dreams.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. And she kind of looks at me and she goes, take that severance package.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. And I was like, okay, this is my sign.
Yeah.
I was scared. I've always wanted to move to LA, but there's always that fear that everyone has, fear of change, right? And so I was like, okay, if this is not a sign, then I'm stupid, right? So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And so that happened in I think it happened in June. And then I gave myself 2 months to prep to move to LA. And one of the things I did to help overcome my fear of moving to LA was to do karaoke, because I hate singing in person. And I've never done it, and I was scared. I'm like, I got to do it. If I can do karaoke and overcome that fear, then I can overcome my fear of moving to Los Angeles. And then I remember I did, and then I was like, okay, cool. This was kind of fun. So
What was your karaoke song?
I was in sync, Bye Bye Bye.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
It's my very first concert I ever went to. Was
Oh,
NSYNC.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so lucky. I never got to see them live.
I did.
Oh.
either.
So
I just had the
jealous.
CDs.
It was great. They came down like little puppets.
Oh,
It was-
man.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was awesome.
So karaoke, that's so like challenging yourself like that. And you're like, no, I have to do this. And then I'm going.
Yeah, just I think just in general in life, if you want to overcome anything, sometimes overcoming the smaller ones will help you achieve the bigger ones. And so that's what I felt like I needed to do, was overcome these small fears to overcome a bigger fear. And so
I love that. That's awesome. You also busted into an industry that's pretty hard to bust into.
Yeah.
In LA.
Cool.
What was that like? Do you still kind of live there or like back and forth?
Back and forth. I mean, Billings, my home base now. Everything's changed to where you can do a lot more now digitally. Like I can still audition. I still audition from here. Mm-hmm. It's all self-tape. COVID kind of helped that out a lot to where you don't have to go in that much anymore. So they're just like, oh, and if I have to go down there, it's a flight. So
yeah. But what was it like? Like how long were you there? What did you do when you were there?
I was there for 12 or 13 years. Well, obviously when I moved there, I had money from that severance package. And so I was good for maybe, I think it was like 6-8 months. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, I got to figure some things out. So I really just hit it hard. It was just like every night, comedy clubs. There's the major clubs, the Comedy Store, the Hollywood Improv, the Laugh Factory, the Ice House. And I was just busting it. Just like, how can I get on stage? How can I get in front of people? And I just kept on doing that. Networking. I know I have my business degree, so I do know business side. It's show business, so I understand business. Mm-hmm. And then had this weird opportunity. This comedy boot camp is what it was called. And Kyle Cease was like, he is from Seattle, so we are doing a show together at the Hollywood Improv, and he's talking to me about this comedy boot camp thing, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, cost $700, to do it, and a lot of people were kind of crapping on it too. So it was just like, I don't know. But a buddy of mine named Josh, childhood friend, he's just like, dude, do it. I'll pay for it. And I was like, you sure? He's just like, don't worry about paying me back. Just go do it, man. I'm like, all right. So I did it, and that literally did open up the door for me in my whole career.
Wow.
Because I got to network. Networking is the biggest thing, I think, in life and in business.
In general, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Not who you know.
It's who you know.
It's who you know. You can be so talented, but if you're just sitting at home and not shaking hands or networking, you're not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm. I think that's true, like, cross industries, like, so much so.
And so I knew networking was huge. And so I was like, in that boot camp, I got to network with a lot of good people who opened up a lot of doors for me that have kind of paved the way of a lot of the stuff I do now. And so that was the thing that got my foot in the door in Los Angeles, was that boot camp. It got me on TV. It got me on big comedy shows in LA. I got to go on tour with people. That opened the door. Man, I should call Kyle up and say, man, thank you for that boot camp, dude.
Yeah, and your friend Josh.
Uh-huh.
My friend Josh, yeah.
Yeah, for paying for it. He believed in you.
Yep.
It's the people who believe in you in life, too. That's also important.
You hear a lot of, entertainers or whatever that say, no one believed in me, and I'm just going to prove them all wrong or whatever. Like, back my hometown, they never believed in me. I'm going to show them. Not for me, man. It was always, you're funny, you're going to make it. And that's what motivated me, was having people believe in me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that.
And helping you get to where they knew you'd be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned all these big shows that you're in, but you also know that you've been on Food Network. How'd you get on there?
How did I get on there?
That is sort of a big deal. Kayla and I are
I love the Food Network, so when I saw that, I was like,
I can't remember who the booking agent was, but I do this. I have a channel on YouTube called Everything Noodles, and I would just cook everything noodles, right? Mm-hmm. And it was dumb. I'm like, I want to just do something, whatever. So I just started making these videos of cooking noodle stuff. Mm-hmm. And again, it's one of those things. It's a networking thing. And so one of the casting directors is like, yo, dude, you want to do this Food Network show? And I'm like, yeah. But I didn't actually cook on the Food Network. I was on Mystery Diners. Have you seen that show?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and a friend of mine, Grant, we were on Mystery Diners.
It's so cool, though.
So we were the ones investigating, when people, we go to these restaurants and the owner's like, something's going wrong with my restaurant. I need to figure out what's happening. We're like, we'll take care of it. And we go undercover and we set all these people up. And it was all scripted, like even the waiter that we busted, or whatever, the cooks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sorry to burst you guys' bubble, but a lot of reality TV is not reality. It's all scripted.
What?
So surprised, so shocked.
But I did get I was on a cooking show called On the Menu. That's with Emeril Lagasse.
I love him. He was like the first chef that I was ever like,
Yeah, so I got to cook on that. Again, second place. I did not win that on that show.
Dang it.
You just have that number 2.
Yeah, number 2. That should be my jersey number 2. Gosh, I didn't even think about that till I was thinking about it.
Third time's a charm, right? So it's like the next time it'll be
the next thing.
Second, whatever that next thing is. So you've gotten some really cool experience. Are there some of those moments like touring, going on different sets in LA or just around the country that really stand out to you?
There's so much. So many times through my comedy career where I'm just like, wow, I'm doing this, from places that I get to perform in resorts or cities or just the audience or just whatever it is. I'm just like, a lot of the times I'm just like, man, this is awesome. This is really cool that I get to do this, or I get to experience all these things.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I mean, I remember one time I got booked for a show in Coeur d'Alene, and I love to golf, so they have a nice golf course out there.
They do have a nice golf course.
Beautiful, or just I get sent out to do like these private shows and these really lavish places like the Yellowstone Club.
Yeah.
Never been, only heard of it.
Yep. Was the first comedian to perform at the Yellowstone Club,
Wow.
which is weird because a lot of celebrities live there. And it was crazy, just like going to the Yellowstone Club and getting to do that and having access to all of that and having the opportunity. And
Well, and they're there to see you,
they're,
which is cool.
yeah, well, they don't know who I am, which is the funny part. They're just
Well,
like,
they know now.
all the guests, I mean, performing in front of million and billionaires is weird. I'll be honest. They don't laugh out loud a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would make it hard.
It was very hard. So it's one of those things, again, you're trying to think in your mind, would this be interesting for them to listen to?
Yeah.
Considering what their lives are like now, right? Do they want to hear about being broke? Do they want to hear about having money? I don't know, right? So you have to think about all this stuff. And then, they didn't really laugh out loud, but then after the show, they come up to me like, oh man, you were so funny. I'm like, oh, why didn't you laugh?
Really, I didn't know because you were all just sitting
I
there.
thought I failed here.
Yeah, but it was just,
I thought I was funny, but
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, you have people like Sierra,
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's wife was there, Vanessa Bryant was there. It was just like things
Wow.
like that.
mm-hmm.
And then, having all those opportunities, or being in Miami and having some coked out strip club owner saying, "Hey, let me take you to my club." I'm like, "What?" And then it's like going to the club and it's just like getting all these cool things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
What unique experiences. That's like, and so what brought you kind of back to Montana from LA?
COVID.
COVID.
Yeah, I was back in LA. I was in March, and the COVID thing was really starting to just. My lease at my apartment was up in April, and I think word was going out that cities were going to start to shut down. Because I remember
It was March, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I flew in. I had a show. I flew back into LA just the start of COVID, and I remember driving through downtown. It was kind of weird. It's just weird. It was kind of like, it felt like a ghost town.
Yeah.
And then I went to my apartment, and then I went to the store. I was like, man, I should get some food because who knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. So I go to this grocery store, and it was like shelves were empty. And I'm like, water was all gone.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And you're like,
and I was just like, what the heck, dude? And so I bought what I could, and I remember I had like a half a case of bottled water left, And you want to drink the water from the tap in LA. And
Good tip. Thank you.
and so I spent about 3 days in LA, and then I was just like, you know what, dude, my lease is up. So I just packed up everything, put my stuff in storage at my buddy's house, and then parked my car there. And then I flew back to Billings. So I was like, I'll just hang out in Billings until I can figure whatever is going to happen. Maybe it's going to be 3 months, So I was like, I'll be back in 3 months. And then, no, that didn't happen.
Here you are.
And then, just stayed.
So hey,
I'm doing a podcast in a vault.
Yeah, we're in an old monster vault in the Montana National Park.
Built in 1918.
I could feel the ghosts in here.
Yeah, there's a few, I think.
Yeah, I was like, Kayla thinks there are ghosts in here.
I do think there's ghosts in here. But so you've moved back. You're working with your family's food truck, but you're also doing some really cool things with some pop-ups and kind of doing an Asian fusion type take on food.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I've always loved food, obviously. Who doesn't love food?
I love food.
I don't know.
But food to me is kind of like this culinary arts, right? It's art, performing arts. Obviously, I love the arts. So I like, for me, when I cook, so I've always cooked for people. Even in Seattle and LA, I'd always cook for people. Thanksgiving, I'd always have a Friendsgiving, like a big one. So all my friends, I would just invite any comedian who didn't have a place to eat or whatever. I'm just like, come over, I'll cook, and have big parties or whatever. And I would just cook for my friends, just always cook. And so for me, cooking is the same way as delivering a joke. So you craft a joke, you put together, you spend time on it, you think about it, you cook it, and you present it to the audience, right? And then they smile. And the same thing with cooking. You think of something, you put it together, you create it, then you present it, and they eat it, and they smile, and you're like, yeah!
This is the best.
So it's the same feeling.
Okay.
Rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like, should we all be watching out for your own food truck or your own restaurant down the line, or you like just your pop-ups?
Pop-ups are cool because it's not a lot of commitment. I'm not a big commitment guy. I just stresses me out, man.
Tell us about your pop-ups. Like, where have you been so far? Like, what kind of food?
I've just been doing it at my brother's restaurant, Mia's Walk, right over here downtown. Just take it over on like a Saturday or Sunday. And the pop-ups is not just about food. It's about everything. I like a certain type of sound. So I have a live DJ every time. I like to decorate it. I want to have a different look. Because I want people to feel different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just, here's food, but an experience, I want the atmosphere to feel good. Always, so when I would tour on comedy, I would always have to go and find places to eat in that city. That was just like my thing. I'd go and experience all those foods and just look and just... I love it, right?
That's the best part of traveling.
That's the best part of traveling. Is eating.
You know what I mean? Seeing everything is really cool too. Like, but food definitely is up there.
Yeah,
number one.
That's a lot now. When I go out of town, I map out where I eat. That's what I do.
Oh yes,
that's how I travel too. I travel to eat and then see things.
Yep.
Me. Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, there's always a ton more that we could tackle here, but we know you got to get rolling and chugging along. He's slinging some egg rolls today.
Slinging egg rolls today.
But we do like to end our episodes with some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
But first, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor.
Thank you to the Small Business Development Center for sponsoring The Vault at 201 North Broadway. The Small Business Development Center provides you with free one-on-one counseling, business plan assistance, marketing research, financial projection assistance, and more to small businesses.
Okay, what's your favorite thing to cook?
My favorite thing to cook is microwave burritos.
Ooh.
All right.
I have an obsession with microwave burritos. I don't eat them all the time, but I don't know what it is, dude, but I love cooking microwave burritos. I get happy when I get to cook a microwave burrito.
All right.
Is it the whole thing, like the microwave?
Is it like Are they frozen, or do you make the burrito? And
no, they're
microwave
the
it?
frozen ones.
Yeah,
those cheap ones.
Okay.
You buy for like 50
Yeah.
cents.
Yeah.
I think it's a nostalgic thing because growing up, my parents would sometimes cook some really Asian stuff that I was like, ugh. But then they would have these microwave burritos for me.
I want the
They
burrito.
had those loaded in the freezer for when they would cook elk elbows or whatever. You know what I mean? They'd have them loaded. So just like, I'll just have the microwave burritos.
You guys enjoy those elbows.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've received was, it's not always easy, but it's always worth it.
Oh, I love that.
I love that too. That's
awesome.
really good.
Favorite thing to do in the summer?
Golf.
Golf.
Yeah.
Golf
And peeing on trees.
Golf is like...
Well, when you're
And
outside.
lick some cat poop.
One last thing, because we can't have you on here and you can't not tell us a joke. What's your end joke? What's the best
I don't
joke?
even have like jokes, like loaded jokes like that. Like street jokes or whatever.
Anything.
That would be the term, like just street jokes that you just have loaded.
Yeah, they're called street jokes.
Okay.
Like,
Kayla and I are learning a lot today.
We are.
called street jokes, like when your grandpa's like, hey, let me tell you something.
Oh.
Like a dad
It's
joke.
like my dad jokes. I always have dad jokes.
Yeah, like dad jokes.
So it's like, how do you get Pikachu on the bus?
How do you get, I don't know.
Pokemon.
Yeah, it's always weird. So people will be like, you're a comedian, tell us a joke. I was like a girl came up, she's like, you're a comedian, tell me a joke. I'm like, yeah.
So we're getting no
You're
jokes.
a stripper, do some coke. I don't know. Like, you can't just force me to do things.
This episode
So
just
bam,
turned
just joke right
explicit.
there.
Well, before we end, is there anything you'd like to share with, like anything you're looking forward to that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Sure. I mean, we are having the Big Sky Comedy Festival come up here. I'll be our 9th time doing it.
Awesome.
So we took a 4-year hiatus because of COVID.
Do you lead that, or one of the leaders of that?
Yeah, creator.
Creator. Wow.
Creator.
That's so cool.
It's my brainchild.
Perfect.
that.
And when is that going to happen?
It's going to happen September 18th to the 23rd. The finale will be at the Alberta Bear Theater on the 23rd of September.
Wow. That's amazing.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely make sure we come to that.
Yeah.
We'll be on that, sharing that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was really nice to learn more about you and your
Thanks
journey
for having
in comedy.
me.
Yeah.
And,
Thanks for being with us.
we will make sure to stop by and have some egg rolls soon.
Yeah, and if you can't make it to have egg rolls, try some cat poop.
Try some cat poop.
Easier.
I can just see you creating a cat poop like candy bar soon.
I actually just thought of a prank I'm going to do to my friends because I just got a cat.
Oh, goodness.
I rescued her. My friend was missing a cat, and someone said, "Oh, I found her cat," and then brought the cat to my house. Turns out it wasn't her cat. Looks exactly like her cat. Wasn't her cat. So now I have this feral cat in my house, and I gave it a bowl of cat food and just started eating it real fast. And I
Yeah,
was
it's really
like,
starving.
"Yeah, I was skinny." I was like, "Oh man," and I was like, "I can't
Put you back out there.
put you back out."
No.
So
now you have
then,
a cat. You have to go get it shots and
Yeah, I
get
went and got it
litter.
shots and got it chipped and everything. And
Named it.
kitty cat,
Kitty
Kitty
cat.
cat,
I love it.
so creative.
My neighbors growing up, they had a cat. They were all boys. Okay, so they had a cat named Mama Kitty, really unique, and Goulash.
Goulash.
Mm-hmm.
I tried
Kitty.
naming her different things. She just wouldn't reply. But
Kitty cat.
kitty cat, she'd come and she was very scared at first. She would hide in the basement, and now she sleeps. She likes to sleep next to me on my bed.
Oh, nice.
Cuddles.
Cuddles.
Gave her a safe
So
place.
you committed to the cat.
Committed to the cat.
Yeah.
She comes up to me and rubs her face on me to let me know that she loves me. And I have a
Or that she's hungry, you know?
and hungry. Yeah, but both. But sometimes I just lay there and she's like, I just want to play. And I'm like, and she'll do this. And I have a room dedicated to her because I have empty rooms. And so I'm just like, this is your room, kitty cat.
This is Kitty Cat's
This
room.
is Kitty cat's
So
room.
she's got a tent, a tunnel.
Oh, nice. She's living the good life.
She's got a Ralph Lauren cat bed that she never sleeps
She's
in.
classy.
Yeah. She's got all this
Because she
stuff.
sleeps with you. Why would she need her own? You know?
I know.
Cats rule the house once they're there.
Yep, she does. Now she's really starting to just kind of take over, and I'm allergic to cats, but I love this.
I love this one.
I love this cat so much, and now I can trick my friends into eating cat poop.
I can't wait to hear how it
Perfect.
goes.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining. You can find the resources and tools mentioned in today's episode at thevault201.com. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe and share with a friend.